Hey guys, welcome back to Bark Brothers Podcast. This is episode 10. Glad to be back shooting another podcast. Just want to give a big shout out to all of our followers on TikTok and supporters on YouTube. What's going on, Blaine? How you been, man?
Well, I'm doing good, man. We're going to introduce our guest today.
Yeah, so we brought our guest on or whatever. This is our brother-in-law, Devin. He's going to be talking about a certain topic with us today on today's podcast. So, yeah, this is Devin, everybody. How's it going, Devin?
Hey, good. How are you guys doing?
Good, man.
Yeah, so me and Devin got to share a mic right now, guys, so sorry about that.
Well, we're working on getting a mixer and a third and fourth mic, so should probably be in the next hopefully month and a half.
Yep.
So that we'll have a couple more mics, but
And then we'll be able to get more people on the podcast, more like guests and stuff.
Yep.
We'll get that rolling.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
But right now we're gonna just share the mic and kind of get Devin's thoughts on the controversy we're gonna be talking about today.
Yeah.
Might stir up a little bit of feathers today, but be all right.
And actually, before we get started, I will say Devin is actually he's actually a big part of the name we actually chose for the podcast. He was the one that actually brought the name up and came up with it. So big shout out to him for that.
Yeah, I mean, Landon came over to my house and brought up doing the podcast, and I think Blaine was there too. We sat there talking quite a long time, couple hours, coming up with names and logos and stuff. So,
Yeah, that was the best
Here we
name.
are now.
That's right.
Devin brought up the Buck Brothers, so we were kind of bouncing around on names, and then we kind of just
It took a minute to get a name or whatever, and
because we are brothers, so
we're all
we
brothers.
stuck with it, and that's what it was. So
I know we're getting excited for what we're tomorrow or was it tomorrow June?
Yep, tomorrow's June, so we're
June 1st.
4 months away.
Yeah, 4 months away. We take off to Ohio, so
Yep.
we'll be leaving on the 27th. I can't wait, and just been doing a lot of off-season grind. But it's gonna be great. Go ahead, Devin.
Today's the last day of turkey season too, so
You gonna get back out there?
probably not.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
I know my sister's not gonna let you get out there.
Yeah, no.
You gotta ask her permission.
Yeah. Me and Blaine almost smoked a couple 2 times. I don't know if you guys talked about that in the past.
Nope.
No, I don't think he said anything.
Yeah, so Blaine and I went out to the farm, got about 74 acres. Yep. We sat together with a shotgun, did some turkey hunting, came up on 2 toms.
Yep.
And they took us through a wild chase through the swamp. I know I fell in the swamp, and Blaine had to get me out. And then the second time we went out there and weren't prepared at all. We were actually looking for that missing kid in our town.
Yep.
And me and Blaine came up on a monster tom. And
Yeah, he just come over top of he just come right over top of the hill as we were walking, and so I had my pistol on me, and I told Devin, I said, I've never shot a turkey before. I was like, can I shoot him? And he said, yeah. So we just sat there and kind of sat still, and we were thinking maybe he wouldn't see us, and he was coming right to us. I mean, he was about 60 yards from us, but he was coming in. And we were on the edge of the woods. I wish we were just in the woods a little closer, because he would have came right to the edge of those woods, and I was going to pop him with my pistol.
yeah, I mean, if we had a shotgun, we would have blasted him right there. We both got down, and he walked about 40 yards away and took off through the swamp again, and
That'd have been sweet.
chased him again through the swamp and got through deep waters and couldn't get him. So, yeah.
Yeah, Devin's got a pretty good farm, actually close to my property that I hunt.
That was fun.
So we actually share some of the deer back and forth, and a lot of deer he has on camera, I get on camera. So we always try to work together, and we're trying, us 3 mainly are trying to get those deer put down, but
Yep.
we got some pretty big bucks in the area. But yeah, I guess we'll get into today's topic. Talking about our opinions and kind of what we think about bows and
Bows and crossbows.
bows and crossbows. So I know it's a little bit of a controversy, but might ruffle up a few feathers, but that's okay.
Be all right.
So Blaine, if you want to
off
start, go ahead and give me your take on crossbows and give me your take on bows and what you think.
Yeah, man. So I think with using a bow, you gotta have a lot of practice. You gotta wake up every day, shoot a couple times. You could just do a cold shoot, because a lot of people do just cold shooting, but you always gotta practice, because if you don't practice, man, you could fail on a big buck for sure.
Yeah.
And then the thing with the crossbows, I feel like you could shoot that crossbow one time and it's sighted in for the whole year. So you know what I mean. So you're gonna have to practice a lot more with a bow. It's a lot more work, I feel like.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a lot more work using a bow than a crossbow. I mean, I don't think that none of us, the three of us here, we don't have nothing against people that use crossbows.
Nope.
I actually think two of us out of the three have actually used a crossbow at one point. So,
Yep.
not trying to hate on crossbow people, but I mean, it's definitely easier than a compound bow.
Yeah, I think the one thing with compound bows too, and I think you guys would agree, or anybody watching, is it's a lot more intimate. To me, when I'm out there hunting in the woods with a compound
agreed.
bow, I mean, you got to take your shots, a lot more wisely and make sure you're right on and everything's steady. And it's a more intimate experience to me when I'm out in the woods.
Yeah, it's closer up too.
Everything's closer, so.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, for me personally, I think I don't know. I mean, I've was it 2021? Was that when he was out there?
When he shot, was he talking about the spike?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was 2021. 2021.
Yeah,
season
2021.
October.
I had hurt my shoulder prior to the season coming up in 21, and I ended up going out with a crossbow, and for a few months or so, and I had it was like, I think, was that end of the season? I think it was towards the end of the season.
Yeah, it was towards the end of the season of bow season. Yeah,
it was towards the end of the season where we're public land, and man, I had this spike come out. I had one more tag. I was like, I'm gonna fill it, and I'm gonna knock his dick in the dirt. So he comes out, he comes out or whatever, and I don't know. I probably shot him like 85 yards with a crossbow, and I mean, he didn't even go 10 yards, Devin?
Yeah, he went like 15 yards and dropped.
Yeah, I mean, I dropped him, and that's at 85 yards. And I mean, could I have done that with a bow? No, not happening. I mean, I'm not even taking a shot at 50 yards with a bow. And personally, like, my thoughts on it, I just think that these crossbows nowadays, the crossbow standpoint, these crossbows nowadays, I mean, some of them are shooting 450 to 500 feet per second at 100 yards. You can shoot 100 yards. And
you're shooting over 100 something yards now. Like, it went from like 70, now they're shooting 100 yards. That's just crazy. Like,
yeah, I mean, 100 yards is nuts. And then some of the newer Ravens,
like that's just a little too much.
Well, some of the newer Ravens, I mean, you can literally blow through 2 car doors if the windows were up on them. I mean, they were just they have just, man, they have enhanced like on a crazy amount. But
yeah, and like, I mean, you couldn't have done that with a bow.
I wouldn't have shot 85 yards with a bow.
Honestly, that's a haul.
Yeah,
that's a big step with the bow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, a crossbow too. You guys can attest to this. Is the other a couple months ago when we all got our bows and we're shooting your arrows. You got a pretty nice group, but with a crossbow, for me, I can't shoot more than one arrow, or else I'm putting Robin Hood in it right in there. Ruining arrows. So
100%. Yeah.
But
yeah, I think you're definitely a lot more dialed in, and I mean, me personally, if you're an able-bodied person, should be using a bow. I think a lot of people don't use bows because it is a little more work, and you have to take more precise shots and pulling your bow back. You got more chances of getting caught or busted by a deer each time. As to with a crossbow, you just pull it up, you put it on it. It's 90% of the times you're gonna kill that deer. Yeah. Not saying that it's 100% chance, but 90% of the time you are going to kill that deer with a crossbow. And I don't know. I think the crossbow is much, much easier than a compound. And I think a lot of people, now that hunting has evolved and like this newer generation, kind of what we're part of now, I think that they've all gotten a lot more lazier. And I think they don't really want to put time in, and they're just, they want to put up cameras and they want to just chase the big bucks, and that's it, and kind of want the easy way out. But
yeah, I mean, I have a little story, I guess. Blaine knows about it.
Yeah.
In Matawan, my 8-point I shot, big 8-point. Out there, I shot him with a crossbow. I know for sure if the way he came in on me, if I had a compound, I would have got him. I hit a 10 buck grunt call, and he ran in about 15 meters, came into me. I was in a cornfield, 2 cornfields, and then a wood line. And he came running from where I've never seen buck come in from before. And he kind of went broadside, saw me, got spooked, and took off and J-hooked and came back. Well, at that time, I had my crossbow, and I already had it up. Didn't have to draw or anything because he pretty much sprinted on me. And once he J-hooked back and gave me broadside, I hit him, smoked him right in the side, and it was done from there. He ran 70 yards and dropped. So
yeah,
if I had a bow, I wouldn't have had time to pull back on it.
Yep, I agree.
Would have got busted.
You probably would have got busted, or it'd have been hard to get your bow back with him running in that fast. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people they take offense when you bring these conversations up, but I think they're good to have. And it's not that you're picking on someone or you're singling someone out or you're hating on someone else. I mean, I think you should be able to hunt with whatever you want to hunt with. Yeah. That's just kind of my take on it. But also, if you look at like the stats in Michigan, I believe it was in 22 or 23, there was 80,000 people that had that were hunting for just archery. 80,000 people that hunted in archery in Michigan. Yep. And there was over 500,000 hunters that bought a tag. Well, out of all the archery season hunters, 76.5% used a crossbow.
Yeah.
That's more than half.
And
that means only barely 30%.
Yeah,
less than 30%.
That's crazy.
Used a compound bow. And like I said, we're not trying to pick on no one. We're not trying to single anybody out.
We're not against
It's just I've used a compound bow, like I said, when my shoulder was hurt. And it's much easier. I think it's an easier way out. And hunt with what you want. Just my take on it.
And I'm gonna kind of bring up something like too is like I feel like there's some crossbow hunters out there that will be like, well, it's just the same thing. You still got to kill them. Like talking about the deer, you still got to kill those bucks. Yeah, but a lot of them bucks that are getting shot by crossbows are 60 plus yards. And if you had a bow, them bucks, you wouldn't even have those bucks.
No, you got to think. People are like, oh, bows or crossbows the same as a bow. It's not. You put a scope on it. You got your vertical versus horizontal, whatever.
Yeah.
And you got to think when you're using a crossbow, it's way more stable than a compound bow.
Yeah.
I mean, we've all shot crossbows. We've all my brother comes over and he's got a crossbow and you've had one and we've all shot your guys' crossbows and you can tell shooting a crossbow if I'm 60 yards back and I'm shooting the target, I'm probably going to have a softball size, maybe a little, hopefully a little tighter group. But with a crossbow, you're 60 yards back, you're Robin Hooding that, and you're a golf ball size, if that. Every single shot.
Yeah, I mean, I used a crossbow the last 4 years or so. Mainly, I used a compound bow with my whole hunting career that I started. Actually, an old Fred Bear Vapor 300.
Yeah.
I just got rid of it this year.
Bow.
I was like 21 years old.
That's sweet.
But I had a couple crossbows that I used the last 4 years just because I messed my shoulder and my back up on the last stint I did for the Army. And then this year got a new bow, a Fred Bear DAP 2 Plus. And I mean, shooting that thing, no problem now.
It's like day and night probably compared to that Vapor.
Back up. And I mean, we were shooting 5-hour energy bottles and nailing the arrows right in there.
Yeah, Devin was shooting good with that bow. That's a good bow.
Using the crossbow versus bow too, you got different tactics.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I mean, one of the things that I like to do is sneak up on deer sometimes when the opportunity's there. With a bow, can't really do that as much because I'll crawl like within 15 to 20 yards from them.
Yeah,
and I can pop up with a crossbow's already in there, pop up, smoke one, and
it's much easier if you're using that kind of tactic. It's much easier to get up on a deer. I think personally, I just think with a bow. I mean, for me, my sweet spot's 25 to 40.
Yeah.
I don't want them any farther than 40. I don't really want them any closer to 25. Anything out to 50, if it ain't a 200-inch buck, I'm not slinging an arrow at it.
And another thing, too, is that people might bring up, because I've seen some comments on some stuff, that people might bring up, whoa, you don't shoot a recurve. The thing is, a recurve and a bow they're a little different, but you got to think, they're shooting, a recurve, you can make it, I've seen people shoot with a recurve 20 yards. With a bow, you don't want to shoot more than 20-something yards. You know what I mean? So it's kind of
less.
It's kind of like they're both the same. They're not the same, but they're both, like with a recurve, you're going to shoot that 15, 20 yards. And then with a bow, you only want to shoot that 15, 20 yards because you don't want to shoot that far. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you can get good, too, with a compound bow, realistically, if you're practicing. I mean, I took a pretty sketchy shot, it was probably like 7 years ago on public land. Smoked a 7-point about 60 yards. I was high up in a tree.
Yep.
7-point came walking in broadside. I pulled back and let it go and hit it by.
Luckily, No, you're right. I've watched my dad. We was out hunting some private land when I was younger. I don't know. I was probably about 12, 13 years old. I mean, I watched him shoot a doe at 75 yards, and
Yeah.
I mean, smoked her, blew her guts and everything out the side of her.
But that
Yeah,
doesn't-
and I
that
agree.
doesn't happen
You
every
can,
time.
and there are some guys that do. There are some guys that they take them 60. You know, Josh Bummer.
That's crazy.
He'll shoot 60, 70 yards with a bow confidently.
But you know what I mean?
And,
you know how much work that takes, though? That takes
it's a lot of work,
yeah.
yeah. And I mean, I'm confident doing that. I mean, I would. I just don't think that for me personally, man, like, you know, an ethical shot for me is 25 to 40.
That's
but
a
I do agree,
sweet
yes, you
spot.
can go with a compound. And I think it's just with those crossbows, man, you know, if they're shooting 400 or 500 feet per second.
They're so fast.
And you're shooting them at 100, you can shoot them at 100 yards. I mean, really, what is going to get away from you?
It's
if
more-
you're in an open
yeah.
field, you're basically shooting a 30-ounce.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Straight down the
Just
pipe.
with an arrow.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, and coming back to the crossbow, and this is no diss on anyone crossbow. You shoot a crossbow.
Yeah.
I shoot a crossbow. The
you've
last
done
4
it.
years I've done it. But I mean, when you look at hunting too, the skill sets and things, your amateur, brand new hunter can get into archery season and use a crossbow and have success just because it's so easy. You put it literally, you can have a red dot on there. If you have it zeroed in, you put it right on where you want to go. That arrow's going.
And
right
how many crossbows now come with a red dot? I mean, the cheaper one you bought at what Dunham's, that came with a red
Well,
dot,
that had
correct?
that
Or did you
one
get an
had-
upgraded up dot?
Yeah,
a red
so
dot
that
on it?
one had a like just a cheap crosshair one, and I put a Sig Romeo red
nice
dot on
red
there.
dot on it, yeah.
Yeah, I took it off
Yeah.
one of my ARs and
And you probably had that same thing sighted in what 30 shots,
yeah,
if that
yeah. I mean, I sat there and sighted that thing in, and I mean,
half hour.
it was good the next year when I picked it up. You know,
And that's what
touch
I'm.
it
That's what I'm
again,
saying
so-
is like so something like that, like, you know, where like you just said, and that's why we brought you on today, because we wanted you to, you know, you've used both, and I've also used both, but I think you've used both a little more than me. So I wanted to have your take on it. That way, people aren't thinking we're, you know, hating on crossbows or singling anybody out. I think that I think you should be able to hunt with whatever you want. I just think that if you're an able-bodied person, you know, I think you should be using a compound, and you should take that step into the next chapter and use a compound and start getting, you know, start practicing more. And it does take up a little more time.
Yeah,
and I get that. But like with a crossbow, like you said, you picked it up the next year and it was completely sighted right in.
Yep.
And you went out and killed. What'd you kill in over there in Matawan? You shot 8 or 7.
Yeah, I had a really nice 8-point come out in front of me. That was 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then I shot last year that old 7-point.
Yeah.
And then we're hit or miss if I shot that 10-point. You want me to tell that story?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So I was out hunting. I think it was the tail end of bow season. I had a crossbow. And we started messing with ghillie suits last year, trying to get more closer to where they're bedding and coming in at to get better opportunities. And then I mixed like a scent killer or whatever and put some vanilla extract in it. And I think some of that Black Widow pea might have got on me too or something. I don't know.
You come
But-
charging.
So it started getting dark. I came out. I saw probably 4 deer, doe coming out of the cornfield. Corn was cut. I was on a wood line coming out and start walking out, texting my wife that I was walking out. And next thing I know, I got blindsided by a deer. Smoked me right in the face. I had a crossbow, came down, and somehow I shot it. Called them up. No one wanted to believe me until I sent pictures. I was pretty banged up. And Blaine came out there with me, and we followed a blood trail about, 250 yards?
Yeah, we followed the blood trail like about 250 yards to the river, and then it. I mean, we were guessing like, yeah, the blood trail stopped at the end of the river, so we're, you know, they obviously crossed, and we got permission onto the other side. We got permission to go to the other side of the private, and then we found a couple specks on that side, and that was it. But there was some big footprints, looked like some buck prints, so. It's just hard because you shot it at dark, and that's what sucks. I wish it would have just been daytime when you got ran over.
Yeah, so it almost looked like when we picked up the blood on the other side too, it could have came across, circled back because we might have spooked it back. It's hard telling. But I went out there shed hunting and ended up coming up on a massive 10-point. Still had flesh on it and the muscle tissue in the neck and everything. So, and if it were to circle back, that's kind of where it would have died at, and it's hit or miss, hard to tell. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and
Sucks. It's
EHD,
kind of
that's
an
a-
unknown thing, but
yeah, it does suck.
that's what sucks. I hate it.
got the buck though.
Yeah, at least you did find.
You
a
ended
bug
up
out
finding a couple deadheads on your property, didn't you? You found another big 8?
No, so,
there. 9, I think.
Yeah, so the beginning of the season, we found a massive 9-point, really big 9-point. What'd you say? Maybe thicker than that.
Yeah,
Thicker
a little
than that one on the
massive
wall.
Yeah.
EHD, I think, is what got him. He was still pretty fresh.
God, that
Crows and animals got him, but yeah, we found him out there. And then I found
And at 9 points, a good buck.
decent
Smaller 8.
Decent 8-point. Yeah,
About
decent.
like mine.
Yeah,
A little bigger.
a little bit bigger and thicker than these guys. Nice 8-point. That one was bleached white though. That was there for a long time.
Yep. That 9 point was a nice buck, man.
We got some nice bucks over there, don't we?
Yeah, no, yeah, that area, it's so like my property exactly. Like I only got 7-8 acres, and it runs into like a natural preserve where you can't hunt it, and that runs all the way to a pumping station, probably about what, Blaine, 500 acres.
Yeah. About
I actually
500
know
acres.
the lady that owns it, and yeah, she is completely against hunting.
Yep.
She don't want no one hunting on her property.
So those deer
all
can just
those
grow.
I mean, yeah, all those deer, they just get to grow and grow and grow, and then once you have Ruck come around, whatever deer he's got, they're coming to me, and whatever deer
deer
I
we
have
got.
are coming to him.
Yep.
And
Vice versa.
the buck that I chased last year, you know what buck I'm talking about, Blaine,
Oh
right?
yeah, you're talking about the
Is,
buck I seen and Jack got you up.
Yeah,
But you've
it's,
seen him. You've seen him twice though.
Yeah, it's the second
right?
time I seen him. I seen him the first time I seen him with you.
Yep.
And then I had him. I had him probably about 60 yards out.
Yeah, 60 yards out. Imagine that's what we're talking about again.
Yeah, he's 16 or 17 point.
Yep, it was I don't know. There was points everywhere. To be honest with you, I'm pretty sure it's a 16.
I had actually talked to the neighbor, and he had told me that the buck that he had seen never got any trail camera pictures of it. But he told me it was 18 or 19 point.
It was 18 or 19. Oh,
Yeah,
or
it was an
18,
absolute
19. It was
monster.
absolute freak. And the one day me and Lana were hunting. When was it, Lana? Later in the rut, right?
It was
in the rut time?
like middle or end of October or November.
Yeah, it was the middle or end of November, and we seen this buck. I seen this buck out the corner of my eyes, and I just his rack was sticking way off its head. And this buck is
Blaine
probably.
picked me right up off my stand.
I'm gonna be honest. This buck is probably. I'm just guessing. I don't know how to score a lot of bucks, but I'm guessing it's at least 180 inches. This buck was an absolute giant. It looked like a rib cage off one side. So I picked him up, and that's how excited I was. I picked Landon straight up to get him on his feet and told him to get ready because there's a monster headed our way. And that was so exciting to be able to see that big of a buck on our property.
Yeah, and I think, it literally, I know Michigan's got big bucks, and there's no doubt, but I literally
we got to see it.
Well, I thought I was in
that was-
Kansas. No joke. That buck, he's honestly probably 170, 180 inches.
Yeah, close to.
And, man,
Thick, too.
we would have known if he got shot last year.
Yeah,
He didn't get
he
shot.
has not got shot. He's
He's probably what? I bet every eight, he's probably 8.5 years old.
Yeah, and his tines, I swear his tines are probably like 10 to 12 inches off its head. That tine, every time it's probably like this tall.
Yeah. 10 inches every time.
10 to 12 inches off its head.
It was an absolute
monster.
giant.
I wish we'd have been able to get him. We're going to try to get him this year, though.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we had some of those coming across. I don't know, should I go into detail about that farm property? There's a butts up to a river.
Just don't give too many of our secrets away, but.
Yeah, butts up to a river, and I have a pretty thick wood line with 2 cornfields, I think, are going to be this year with another wood line going in between. So, perfect funnels and areas for the deer to come in. And like Landon said, we're seeing the same bucks. We got a good looking 4-point that looks like an 8-point.
Yeah,
he's thick, monster body. So, and no, I don't think anyone shot him this year either.
No, we would have known. He'd have been posted.
He's gonna be a tank this year.
Freak, though.
And then, I shot that old 7-point last year, so I was kind of holding out for the big bucks at that farm. And I saw monsters out there. My first day sitting out there, I saw a monster 10-point walked up on me. But it sucked because I had 9 points, 8 points coming 15 yards from me broadside. Could have smoked them, but we knew the type of deer that are out there, so holding out for them.
Yeah, and just pushing for better deer, and he passed a lot of good deer, and to make it to the next year. And I would say if he's seen 6 of them, I guarantee you 3 or 4 probably lived and made it through. But his farm out there, hopefully we'll be helping him, cutting out some lanes for him. That way he's got some shooting lanes. And this is what, your 3rd year hunting it, or 2nd year?
2nd year hunting it, and this year too, I'm gonna do something different. I think we're gonna put a couple tall stands in.
Yeah.
Those stands you ratchet in with the
because he was
going up.
basically last year he was hunting out of a lot of ladder stands, right?
Yeah, there's just a ladder stand there, and I noticed throughout the year that the deer knew I was there just from previous people. They see that ladder stand. So and I also got a saddle set up. I'm doing this year. I got first year doing a saddle, so I'm gonna be rocking the Grit.
It's the workhorse, right?
Yeah,
Workhorse,
the
yep.
Grit. It's the Grit new 2025 saddle, and then I got the platform and the sticks too. So
Did you get the XL platform or just the regular?
no, I got the regular one.
Yep.
Tell me the color too of it. It's like a mossy bottom.
Yeah, so the saddle's the bottomland, mossy oak bottomland one.
Yep.
And looks pretty good too.
Sweet.
It's comfy. I climbed up some trees and stuff and shot out of it. And no
Cool.
issues. So
Yeah, I'm excited. I can't
Yeah.
wait. I think going out to your farm and dialing some stuff in for you and helping you out there.
Yep.
I think it's going to be great for you. I think just
Yeah.
making sure, because I mean, last year you didn't really go out and you didn't really do like any cutting and trimming any trees or nothing for shots.
no,
really,
so
did you?
I had that 10 acres. I had some monster bucks out there, a couple 10 points. I messed up that I had a big 8-point come under me. You're just barely able to see with the light, and he walked under. I thought I had another buck coming, so you normally, the bigger bucks are coming from behind. They let
Yep.
The small ones go out. Nope. Big one came out first. Couldn't get a shot on him, and I had a small 7-point under me. So
That's on your 10 acres.
yep, the 10 acres,
Sweet.
and then the farm actually got out there October 20th ish. So I had no time to prep, no time to scout, nothing.
Yep.
The day I got the okay to go out there, pulled the trigger, I walked out there, looked for a good spot, found a ladder stand in there, jumped in that, and
Kind of just hunted
saw
out of it.
deer
Yeah.
every
You
si-
kind of went into the property blind.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had-
And I think that is another thing for you. I think that's definitely going to, having that saddle set up and being able to be mobile. And then, we'll go out and we'll pick out trees that, you're going to set in, and we'll clear a bunch of trees out and get shooting lanes free. Cause I can guarantee you right now, anybody listening to this podcast, if he's got any kind of clear shots, a big buck's going down on that property.
And if he hunts the
That
wind,
property holds some good deer. I mean, the 8 acres I have, they hold some monsters. And I know anything I have is going to him. And we're probably, honestly, 300 yards?
yeah.
Probably about like a click away, kilometer away. So
Yeah,
1,000 meters.
Yeah, maybe 1,000 meters. So, yeah, it's not very far. But,
Yeah.
it holds some big bucks. So I think getting out there, helping you prep that, I think it's going to benefit you in the long run. So,
Yeah, I mean, me and Blaine's been out there with me too, and we got to scout it out. There's some gnarly spots that we can sit in and see some.
but you
action.
also have a lot of good property around you, too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, across, I don't think anybody hunts
The house on
Kitty
the
Corner
pond.
because there's no one hunts that.
That's
I
empty.
got the property that's behind that,
Yeah.
and then you got the river, and across from that's this,
Yeah.
over there that no one's allowed to hunt too. So,
Yep.
and then the back area, there's a guy that hunts that, but I've never seen him out there. So,
No.
and I mean, every single time I've sat on that property last year, I saw deer. Doesn't matter where I was, wherever I was doing.
I think me and Blaine's
saw
for
deer.
sure out at where we hunt our little piece. It was hilarious. Blaine actually, I was hunting there. I hunted there for a few weeks, and then Blaine wasn't. You weren't hunting there really, were you?
No, I wasn't hunting that much.
And then I brought Blaine out, and I pretty much told him whatever buck came in was his.
Yep.
And I swear, no lie, every set we went out, we've seen 120, 115, 130 inch buck every single set.
Every set. It was insane.
Blaine, little funny story about him. He should have pulled the trigger on a 145 inch
8-point.
8-point. I'm talking absolute monster.
Yeah, I had
And what was he at 42 yards?
He was at 40, 42 yards, and I had a 40-yard pin. And so we were kind of having a back and forth issue. I was kind of wanting Landon to shoot it, and he was kind of wanting me to shoot it. That's why we did
When you were a little bit above me, so you couldn't really hear me.
Yeah.
As I was telling him, hey, shoot.
Well, I didn't shoot. I had an open shot at 40 yards, and I had a 40-yard pin.
Then we had the doe behind us too.
Yeah, and the only
she was
reason-
watching every move we were making.
Yeah, and the only reason why I didn't shoot is because I thought Landon had an open shot. Because you had your bow back, but the tree was in the way.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
And then
man,
I let up, and
Yep.
I kind of held onto my bow, and I was
Yep.
telling him to shoot. And no, neither one of us ended up shooting him.
And then the doe was coming up.
I don't know what happened.
The
but
doe was actually coming up 20 yards beside us, and if she would have kept going over top of the hill, and
she
kept
ended up catching our wind, didn't she?
Yeah, and if she would have kept coming, I mean, she would have brought that big 8-point right with him. But then she kind of the wind must have swirled and ran off.
And then after, actually,
followed.
that was late. That was middle of it was beginning of November when that happened.
Yeah.
And then it was a week or so into gun season. I had him come out. I don't know, probably 100 yards.
Yeah, you said.
And I
about
missed
100.
him with a shotgun.
Oh yeah, nice.
Yeah.
It was the same buck too.
It was the same buck. I was sick over it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, good buck.
Yeah, and also we didn't mention Devin, yeah, you're a veteran, so thank you for your service.
Yeah, I appreciate for your service,
Wanted to
Devin.
say that.
Yeah, might
'Cause
as
you
well
brought
bring
that
that
up. And that's why we kind of brought him into it, because he's had some problems with his shoulders and stuff. So.
And that was part of why we wanted him to also bring up, talk with us on the topic of crossbows versus bows.
And like Landon said too, like we don't want no one thinking we're against anybody or nothing. So that's why we brought Devin on, because he's done both. So.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
go ahead, Devin.
So
You're good.
going back to, I know we got off topic a little
What's
bit.
up, Goose?
But
Yeah,
going back
you're
to
good.
crossbows and bows, I was kind of thinking while you guys were talking just now. I mean, you guys know we go in the bow shop, you get your bow. Sometimes they'll set it up for you. This year I did it with them, and it was pretty awesome. But getting your different weights on your arrows, your lengths, your how many grain your broadhead's going to be. I mean, that's something that will throw your arrow off on a compound bow.
Oh, it definitely will.
And one thing I do with a crossbow, I go to Walmart. I'll buy a $3 bolt.
The Walmart special.
A $3 bolt, $10 3-pack of broadheads, and that thing goes wherever I want it to go. So it's not a lot of mathematical, science that goes into it compared to your compound bows when you want to be accurate.
Yes, whereas like he said, you can throw a $5 broadhead or a $3 broadhead on a crossbow, and 9 times out of 10 you're shooting golf ball size. I mean, you can't even shoot a second arrow with a crossbow.
I mean, I've killed every single deer with a bow with the $3 broadhead from
Yes,
Walmart.
so have I, actually, ain't gonna lie.
So I mean, I've used muzzies before too, but that off-brand muzzy style works pretty.
My
good.
favorite with the big, the $9.90. Remember the $9.99, the gold and green ones?
Oh,
and
yeah.
your dad used to use.
Yeah, my dad.
Yeah,
Our dad.
that's all we could afford.
all we
So
could afford, so.
they did the job though.
Hey, they did the job. I mean, we knocked some deer down.
And I will
for
say,
sure.
last year I shot my big buck above me. The buck I got above me. I shot him with the Killzone Max broadheads. It's a 2 3/4 cut.
Oh yeah,
2 3/4 cut. I'm turning out.
Isn't that the one I gave you though? Didn't I give you one and you used it, and that was on that buck?
Nope, that was on my 4-point.
That was on a 4-point.
Yep. I shot a cheap Walmart broadhead with I shot a 4-point, and I absolutely drilled him. But
Drilled
the
that
buck
4-point
above
on
me,
the ground.
the buck above me, I shot with them Killzone Max, and I mean that hole was huge. I mean, it opened him right up.
it put his guts out the other side.
Yeah.
That deer was not. There was no chance of him living. Like.
Yeah, that was kind of a sweet hunt too. I was out there by myself, and I actually tried to get Blaine to go with me, and he didn't want to go. Or what were you doing? You guys were going trick or treating or something?
We went trick or treating for the kids. Devin was with us. We had our brother Blake with us. We were all with us, and I'm glad Landon decided to go out there, and he busted his tail that day. He dropped a stand out at where was it? I think one of the
public property.
On the public property, dropped a stand down. Took it to his property, put it up, busted his butt, and he hunted from like what
11:30 to I got in at 10:30 or 11. And
yeah, yep.
Hunted from there till like around. I shot the buck at like 6:15.
Is that when you shot that guy?
Yeah, right above us. Yeah.
I remember because we were at that church trunk or treat or whatever, and Landon called, and Landon sometimes a jokester, so we all thought he was joking, and no, we came there and got this bad boy out of there.
Yeah, it was sweet. It was a good hunt.
It was the best hunt too, to be able to have your brother call, on his first big buck. He's almost in tears. Talk, just he doesn't even know what to think. He's, on the phone. It was a crazy conversation with you because
yeah,
you were
definitely
so
the buck
shaken
fever. I
up
was shaking
about
up
it.
out of my stand.
He was so shaken up about it, almost in tears, and it was just so exciting to be able to, get a call from your brother. And
we actually ended up finding him the next day because we didn't lose blood, but I seen him bed down. I left him alone, and he tried to cross the river either early that morning or that same night, and he ended up dying right under a log jam.
Yeah.
So it was
just a really good call though, to be able to, especially your first biggest buck ever.
Yeah, that's my
awesome.
biggest buck to date with my compound bow. Yeah. So it was exciting.
I know you guys were talking about does your last episode.
Yeah, last podcast what did we talk about?
We're talking about deer.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about like the farmers hunting during the early season, or not early season, the growing season. Be able to, once their crops are planted, they're able to start hunting does. And this year we talked about making sure, or last podcast we talked about harvesting more does. So
yeah. I know for me, I shot 5 deer last year.
How many does? 3 or 4, didn't you?
3 doe. Yeah. 3 does.
I thought it was 4.
That's
but,
what you said.
Yeah, I said 4, but I knew it was somewhere 3 or 4.
3 does last year. One of them was a monster. She was so big.
Yeah.
Shot him with my oldest son. It was actually funny. He's went hunting with me twice. 2 years ago, we went to Portage public land over there.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't see anything. I've never seen a deer there. Maybe one time, just because people will literally, you'll be sitting there, they'll walk right by you. 10 minutes later or half hour later, they'll get cold and walk out. They
Yep.
don't sit out there. So, but we went out to my private, and he actually got to see deer this time. We didn't get to sit in a tree stand or anything because while we were walking out there, I saw about 6 doe in the field, had a crossbow, and I had him get down, and I low crawled probably 20 yards up to him. I was about 40 yards away, popped up, smoked the one doe.
In Smoke City.
Biggest doe was turned towards me. I smoked her right in the chest, came right out, hit her right in the heart. She ran probably 20 yards and
That's sweet as heck.
And then the end of the year, actually, the last 3 days, I went to go hunt a different property. They had so many doe out there, and it was 3 days to the end of the late antlerless season, gun, and I had a 12 gauge. Went out there 2 days, saw deer every single time. Had a buckshot on me. They were a little far away. I took a shot, missed completely because of the buckshot.
Yep.
And the next day, I was like, I'll go get some rifle slugs. Went out there, got in a little late. It was about 2 p.m. and pulled up, and there was about 10 deer in the backyard. So I had to jump out of my truck, load my gun quietly, and I crawled through the snow about 40 yards and popped up, shot one doe that was down a hill. And then prior to I said earlier, I got hit by that deer in the same season last year. So I was like, oh, man, I want to get hit again. About 9
Stay away
deer,
from 'em.
doe started sprinting at me again. So I popped up, had another tag on me, and smoked another one on the run. Shot 2 more doe.
That's sweet. Yeah. Yeah, we're definitely going to be stacking
Got a
some
lot of
doe
deer
this
meat.
early season. I can't wait. So.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's pretty much it for today's podcast. Once again, just want to give all of our followers on YouTube and TikTok a big thanks, and everybody that supports us, friends, family, and new viewers. Also, I do want to say right before we end this, we don't forget we are still doing the $100 gift card giveaway to
Bass Pro Shop.
Bass Pro Shop. You have till June 19th to subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you'll be picked in a drawing and live on TikTok.
Yep.
You'll be able to get a chance to win if you're subscribed to the channel. So
And we want to say a big thanks to Devin for coming on today. Thank
Yep.
you, Devin.
really appreciate it, man.
Yep. So I think that's it, guys. If Devin wants to say one more thing.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and everybody like, comment, and subscribe, and
That's right.
share the videos on everything so you can get the word out.
Yep, and you'll see more of Devin. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.